So let's talk about the Valorant First Strike tournament. If you didn't know, the first day for Valorant First Strike tournament just happened. So what does this mean for Valorant? Well, Valorant is getting a lot of its own tournaments soon. So if you didn't know, because Valorant is pretty fresh, a lot of people don't know a lot about Valorant, actually, not even me. But Valorant and Riot itself has a lot of things planned for the game. In what ways? I'm definitely sure they are starting with Valorant pretty much slow. What I mean by that is they didn't go all in, make huge tournaments like it happened in Fortnite, but over time they're making and progressing their game as they're garnishing more players. I think we could very much consider that Valorant has a huge potential no other game has in the last 5 years, I'd say. It's pretty much a game that we will see be played in 2025. This is how Valorant First Strike tournament changes everything. Like, the Valorant First Strike tournament is Valorant's very first chance at actually getting its proper tournaments, and the prize pool with 100k definitely helps. If you've seen that, Valorant has been in a dry zone, but not because it hasn't been performing well or anything like that, but it just was in the development stage, really. I think in 2021, while there's still the quarantine, the secret word I can't use because I got demonetized, you can see there's gonna be a lot more updates coming in that people will most likely like. The huge advantage Valorant and the Riot team has is, one, working with content creators. I'm definitely hoping I'll work with them sometime in the future. And the second thing they have is listening to their core audience. Listening to their core audience is one of the key features to making Valorant perfect. And what bigger thing is there than, bringing all people together to watch a tournament? I think this is a great addition. But anyway, the topic of this video is Valorant First Strike tournament worth even watching? And I would definitely say yes. If you've been watching on day one, there were teams like T100 versus some no-name teams basically who just lost. They completely lost and they got obliterated. Well, they put up a fair fight, but they never got even close to T100. What's really gonna be important is around December, from the 3rd December to the 6th December, we're gonna be seeing a lot more of Valorant's potential.
Forthcoming. Meanwhile, 100 Thieves pushing in through Garage, already carving out a path with the Ghost of Azuna. Ozo falls as does KDS. Perfect utility again. Just so much smokes, flashes, blinds in the eyes of Hot Thoughts. And now with Reyna and Omen remaining, and a post-plant 2v5. Best of luck to them, Dust. I wish them all the best, but it's not happening, is it?
Vince, you like to hold out a little bit of hope as best you can, and while Scoop, he's gotten himself one. There is some hope here, but it is the slimmest of it, isn't it?
Oh, it's not worked out too great for them. Killjoy in the hands of Steel, just behind the dark cover, has gone down, and now Scoop getting one, able to try and escape. I say that as he gets sprayed down in the back from the Phantom of Azuna. Paranoia tossed in, more dark cover on the site, blocking off some of these angles. Dicey perched up, waiting, anticipating the peak, and the peak comes in. Tony is eviscerated alongside Azuna, who holds on to the spray transfer.
Now, it's also a great way to actually connect with your favorite team. So, my current favorite team is the biggest underdog there has to be Cloud9 White. It's an all-female team organization that actually has a lot of potential without, basically, if you don't watch a lot of esports, what happens in other games is that the female teams fight against other female esport teams, and the male teams fight against other male teams. In here, Cloud9 White actually is playing against like male teams, which makes a huge step in the esport female organizations. I think this is a huge thing for Valorant, especially they quite put up a fight on the first day to go through, but I definitely want to see them get too close to the #1 place as possible. I don't think they can defeat 100 Thieves just yet, but they can get close to it with the right amount of practice and with basically all the potential they have. I can't express this enough. They have so much potential. Now we have 100 Thieves, which 100 T is probably one of the most important teams in Valorant because it's also one of the strongest, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna dominate, and I mean seriously dominate, the esports scene. If you ever watched Astralis in CSGO for the last 4 years, this is what I'm saying. Like, Valorant is pretty much fresh, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna be, you know, looking into new strats. They're gonna be having a few new form of strats, which is great for content creators to actually look into that. And that's what I'm saying. If you watch Valorant First Strike tournament, you can actually learn a lot of these strats and use them in ranked. Now, they play on top of the top aim levels.
Session here, they know exactly where, or the vicinity of easy. Not able to spam through the wall though. Alexis finally finds the kill. So it is a 2 versus 3, definitely doable. Kilroy
and they're
and
in
his
a strong
comrade.
position and lamps to do this, but the smoke goes down.
And there's the... He's gonna tap the spike to start. Zero data just continuing. Anidro now in a 1 versus 1. Spike is not even at half. And that is a beautiful kill for Anidro, and that hurts so bad for Hooligans. It's B's. We're gonna see Jazzy run into a couple members of the Hooligans. Gonna zip on through. Knows that one is U-Haul, but gets taken out by Anidro. So that means the B site is theirs. Omen.
I know exactly.
Like he popped his ult, but canceled it immediately. And this retake will be very, very difficult indeed. Jazzikins pops the ult for good measure. Not able to find anybody though. Reflect. This is probably the person we should be watching now. Not able to heal though. This is kind of a big deal as the paint shells finish him off. How sad. Eshot's the last hope for the Hooligans. Finds one. Not able to get any more as Anidro with the 4th kill of the round, and C9 take it 13.
So does Valorant First Strike tournament actually live up to the standards? And personally, I would say yes. This could very much be the most important tournament in Valorant history. And don't get me wrong here, there's gonna be a lot of bigger tournaments and more important ones for Valorant in the next 5 to 10 years, but this one starts it all off. This is actually the foundation tournament for proving that Valorant can and will be a competitive game. Now, there's another aspect in Valorant esports, that is bringing people together. So Valorant does pretty much great is making people competitive against each other, but making them competitive with friends and making it actually fun. So if you can make this, like for example, Valorant fun, for example, and actually being competitive at the same time, it wins. So for my example, Valorant is much like football games. They're competitive and they're fun at the same time. While you have single player games, Valorant is a game that can build a year-long, long-lasting relationship with its core audience. So one thing I'm hoping for the Valorant First Strike tournament after that it's over is that Riot actually implements specific skins for specific teams that could definitely work out pretty well for them from a financial standpoint. So for example, you know how Overwatch League has their own specific esports skins? I think if we had something like that in Valorant, that would be bonkers. I think the real important thing to note here is that Valorant First Strike tournament is not even fully out yet. Only NA is playing right now. What happens when EU is playing? What happens when other teams start playing? It's gonna be crazy. There's gonna be a lot of viewers getting in together, a lot of people going in for that prize pool, a lot of people watching. Like, this is the final step to Valorant's big success. I think in January 2021, we're gonna see Valorant being the big hit. What I want to see in the future is also interviews for specific players. So for example, I want to see an interview for a specific team that won a specific tournament. I think something, if you know, could be implemented, something like that, that would be amazing. I also believe that we're gonna see more of actual viewers from Japan, China, Korea, as I see already esports growing in Korea for Valorant. And I think this is gonna be one of the bigger games, especially because Valorant doesn't need huge types of graphics. We're gonna see what it brings next. Like, there's gonna be a lot of viewers coming in for sure, and that means a lot of new skins and updates. Do I recommend you watching the Valorant First Strike Tournament? Most definitely. This has to be one of the best events I have ever seen for Valorant so far. The only better event was probably the Killjoy release, which I absolutely love, to be honest. But hey, if you have time, if you have 30 minutes, be sure to check out Valorant First Strike Tournament. It will help you out a lot in improving your game sense and even finding your team you love the most and rooting for them. It basically brings people together in the time of quarantine. I'm definitely hoping we're gonna see tournaments like this, because this was a huge success for what Riot did with this tournament, especially streaming it on community channels or on bigger brand channels. I think it's a very important aspect not a lot of people are seeing, but this will definitely bring a lot of viewers from Twitch to Valorant. Hey, anyone, if you want, you can subscribe. It helps me out a lot. But anyway, enjoy the Valorant First Strike Tournament and see you tomorrow.